Hello everyone, I am Gabby Jones and I work for Encryption Consulting. Today's topic of our discussion is GDPR and its requirements. So particularly in this video, we will start the discussion with what is GDPR, followed by its requirements. And then in the last slide, we will discuss steps needed to achieve GDPR. So, without wasting anybody's time, let's get started with the first thing. What is GDPR? It actually stands for General Data Protection Regulation. GDPR is the core of Europe's digital privacy legislation. The European Commission announced plans for data protection reform across the European Union in January of 2012, with the goal of making Europe ready for the digital era. After 4 years, an agreement was made of how and when it will be enforced. One of the key components of the reform is the introduction of the GDPR. This new EU framework applies to every organization and has impacts on every individual and business. Under the rules of GDPR, organizations must not only ensure that personal data is collected legitimately and under stringent conditions under the rules of GDPR, but also that those who collect and manage it are obliged to protect it from misuse and exploitation, as well as to respect the rights of the data owners, or they will face penalties for not doing so. Now, the question is, who does GDPR apply to? So GDPR applies to all businesses operating within the European Union, as well as enterprises operating outside of the EU that sell goods or services to EU customers or businesses. That ultimately means that almost every major corporation in the world needs a GDPR compliance strategy. So the second part of our topic is the question, what are the requirements of GDPR? The requirements apply to each member state of the European Union, aiming to create more consistent protection of consumer and personal data across the European Union nations. Among the GDPR's primary privacy and data protection regulations, some key points are: number 1, lawful and fair and transparent processing. Processing refers to a variety of activities carried out on personal data, both manually and automatically. So it is important that the processing should be fair and equitable. Number 2, limitation of purpose, data, and storage. Collect only necessary information and discard any personal information after processing is complete. Number 3, data subject rights. A customer can ask what data an organization has on them and the intended use of said data. Number 4, consent. Organizations must ask for the consent of the customer if personal data is processed beyond legitimate purposes. The customer can also remove consent anytime they wish. Number 5, personal data breaches. Based on the severity, the customer must be informed within 72 hours of identifying the breach. Number 6, privacy by design. Organizations should incorporate organizational and technical mechanisms to protect personal data in the design of new systems and processes. Number 7, data protection impact assessment. Data protection impact assessment should be conducted when initiating a new project, change, or product. 8, data transfers. Organizations have to ensure personal data is protected and GDPR requirements are respected, even if a third party doesn't. 9, data protection officer. When there is significant personal data processing in an organization, that organization should assign a data protection officer. And number 10, awareness and training. Organizations must create awareness among employees about the crucial GDPR requirements. Alright, now we're going to be moving ahead to our final slide, which focuses on how to achieve GDPR on the cloud. In this segment, we will be discussing the steps required to achieve GDPR on the cloud. One of the steps, the first step, is that organizations should know the location where the data is stored and processed by CSP, or the cloud service provider. Number 2, organizations should know which CSP and cloud apps meet their security standards. Organizations should take adequate security measures to protect personal data from loss, alteration, and unauthorized processing. Number 3, organizations should have a data processing agreement with the CSP and cloud apps they will be using. Number 4, organizations should only collect the necessary data that it will need and should limit the processing of personal data any further. Number 5, organizations should ensure that the data processing agreement is respected and personal data is not used for other purposes by the CSP or cloud apps. Number 6, organizations should be able to erase data at will from all data sources in the CSP. Alright, that's all from my side. Thank you so much for listening and taking your valuable time to watch this video. It really means a lot to our company. To learn more about encryption and data protection related topics, take a look at our website listed on this slide right here, www.encryptionconsulting.com. And also make sure to subscribe to the channel, give us a like, make sure you have our notifications on, everything like that. Thank you so much. We'll see you again soon. Have a great day.